Let's all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, it is our public input on agenda and non-agenda items. I welcome any members of the audience to speak at this time. Okay. Under non-action items, the public hearing, the district safety plan.
Yeah, so we sent the safety plan the Friday report, I think last Friday. Really not many changes. There's one change that's statewide, which is the term lockout, which is confusing with lockdown for obvious reasons. So it's now called secure lockout. So there's a lockdown where, you know, there could be an intruder inside the building and everybody's in the rooms over in the corner and doors are shut. And then lockout, which for us really is what we're in every day. It means the doors are locked and nobody can come in without getting buzzed in or checked in. That is now going to be called secure lockout, excuse me. Again, to try to separate it from lockdown so it doesn't sound so familiar. And then two other changes, which are also not Troy changes, but changes due to regulation. One is, and you guys know about it from our policies. Policies have already been changed to reflect it, but the new temperature law, the temperature gets to a certain degrees, which really is more of a June thing, but sometimes in September, I guess. So if the classroom hits 82, then you have to mitigate as best you can. And then there's another temperature, which I don't know off the top of my head, 88, then you actually have to remove the students and adults from that area and bring them to a different location. So that is also part of the safety plan, that those new policies have to be in there. I don't think there was any, and then other than that, the building changes are the new people and the new phone numbers and stuff like that. Everything else is the same.
All right. The superintendent update.
Yeah, just a quick update on Lions Hill. So we had our joint meeting, and there was a little bit of chatter the next few days and maybe weeks. But I've had some great meetings. So I met with the principal over there a couple weeks ago. Had 2 meetings with their teacher representatives. I've met with their PTA officers, all very, very positive. You remember from the joint meeting, they handed out a flyer with a couple of coming up town halls. Those town halls are really looking back at the optimization study. I think it was pretty obvious from the joint meeting that at least the people that were in the auditorium that night felt like they didn't know about it, felt like they were being, that it was being rushed through and they had no idea that this was even happening. So I think what Superintendent Yotis and the consultant that was involved in that felt like they needed to do was take a few steps back and have some more town halls about the optimization study, answer some of the questions about what do we do, why are we doing it, which is the financial situation they're in. Actually, Adam and I looked at it recently, Adam looked at it and then shared it with me recently, that they might be in even more dire, at least from the numbers we're looking at. 3 years might be generous, but they're in a spot where 3 years could be really tough for them from now. And I don't think that was evident with the people that were in the audience that night. So they're going to be doing a little bit of that. There was a lot of why not Able Park, and so they have some answers to that. All things that were in that optimization study, if you read that in detail, that when I sent it to you. So this is kind of like a step back. What I said to Superintendent Yotis, the principal, the teachers, and the PTA group, I will come, and representatives from Troy will come to anything they need us to come to. For these meetings, they kind of so far have asked for me to stay away until they clear up all that. I said to the parents especially, they have an opening PTA popsicle day, I think it was yesterday. And I said, I'll come to that if you want, but I also understand that me being there too early might cause some feelings. And so I said, you let me know when you think you need me to start coming to everything. So that hasn't happened yet. I think they're still working through their stuff on their own, which is fine. But we've been in really close contact. Paul Reinish and I talked to Mary today. There was a slight hiccup, if you heard, for the sports yesterday, but it's all cleared up. The girls' soccer coach, I shouldn't call her out probably in public, but and she thought she was waiting for clearance from the health office, but Gardner Dickinson already cleared them, and so there was just a little bit of miscommunication. So there was a little bit of Facebook chatter last night about how their Gardner Dickinson girls didn't get to try out yesterday, but that's all been cleared up and all set. And so the merger of sports, which started yesterday, they actually started school today with students, so they got dropped off, which they will every single day, right out front. And we'll bring them in to the school and wait for practice to start. So I'll keep you posted, but that's all going to go really well. They have 36 kids right now participating, which Superintendent Yoda said is more than half of their 7th and 8th grade participating in sports, so that's really, really cool.
Just a point of evidence there. So my youngest is trying out for the soccer team for a second year. He said there were 2 or 3 kids from Troy, and the rest of them were Gardner Dickinson. So evidence that they actually needed it.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, they did need it for sure. Yep. And I've heard there's a few that are even going to move up, to different levels in a couple of sports, which is really cool. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Certainly, I'll keep you posted as I start going to the town halls, and if any of you want to join me into the board meetings and things as we get further along, I'll be doing that.
Okay. All right. Adam, you want to give a construction update?
Yes. Hi, everybody. We're here for, call it the annual construction update.
Yeah, I don't know about annual. Biannual, does that mean twice a year? Yeah, you'll be doing this again.
I don't know. It's biannual for a little bit, but I think we're now in an annual state. I've got some different information on these slides, really just, I think, for the new board members, kind of to hear what the more experienced board members have heard over the last couple of years in terms of capital projects, what we've done, planning, things of that nature. The group here, myself, the guys from Mosaic, and there's really more people than just Kirsten and Matt, but those are our prime architects on the projects. Jeff Weston, Jimmy Gray are VW Marks, Henry Alvarelli is our clerk of the works, Jeremy Jasper, as our director of facilities. That group, plus a couple other people, we meet every week on Wednesday mornings. Internally, Henry, Jeremy, and I meet Monday mornings to just have like our own internal meetings about everything that's going on, to then bring forth on Wednesday mornings where we meet with contractors and then have our own, what we call like owners meeting to discuss anything that's going on in current projects and future planning. So those are some long meetings, but they're hugely valuable and go so far to stop major problems in their tracks as they come up. The mission statement that we always say, to provide a strong educational and social foundation to graduate all students college and career ready. Always say the buildings are a part of that. Receiving the students, keeping everyone safe. On this next slide, it's pretty crazy.
It's unbelievable, really.
And this is not all inclusive. This is a very high level summary of what's happened. I started in 2015, I think, and the IT and security project was ongoing at the time. I think as all of you know, when you vote on a project, it takes a couple years to get it done. And so that one was probably the first one right after the middle school. Previous to the middle school, it was quite a while before large-scale projects were done. And you can see the list. I mean, I had to kind of remind myself and go back to old presentations.
Were you here for demolish of the Zach House?
I came like the next month. I think that got demolished maybe in June or July, and I started in August. So I never really got to be in the Zach House, but
You didn't miss it.
and like I said, it's not all inclusive. These are kind of the larger projects. And one thing to point out, this is $150 million, all inclusive of just these projects that have gone into our buildings in the last 12 years.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's done in so many ways without impact on the taxpayer. It's leveraging state funds to make our buildings as great as they possibly can be. And I'd even say, you know, I'd say we're like 75% there, in my opinion. You know, there was a lot of things to take care of, both safety, security, roofs, you name it. And, you know, I'd love to get to that next step in the next phases that maybe we'll talk about later. Current active projects, I don't know if that's too small for everybody, I'm sorry. So the top left is the $56 million building modernization, which included TCS, I had to go back and remember that, the School 12 pool, 14 walls, 18 and 16 renovations, and right now we're at the high school tech wing. Below that,
That's a lot for 56 million.
you know it
It
is.
ended up costing us more than
It
56.
ended up costing more, we put more funds in.
Remember we were putting those funds in at the end.
More,
of
put
the
more
budget
funds
season.
in, you know, and I'll even say now in newer projects, it just doesn't go as far as it used to go. Especially when I started in education, now it's kind of crazy. But, you know, it is what it is in order to get those projects done. On the bottom left, if you remember, we did a $5 million small city capital outlay. We got that in just before the change at the state level. That did, you know, fields, a sewer line here, we're still in the throes of elevators, the boiler's at 12 and a chiller at 2. Most of that is all done. Top right, we voted on and approved a $46 million in 2024. That's secure vestibules at the high school, Carroll Hill and 2. That's the middle school cafeteria and music suite, Carroll Hill locker room renovation, more site work at the high school and LED lighting throughout the district. That's in the planning phases. Some things will hit very soon. And the bottom right was out of that $5 million small city outlay, we got the aid, well, we will get the aid this year. So once I file that with our fall ST3, that $3.6 million is in this budget to then transfer over, talk about the concession stand, the north end access road at the high school or the campus here, and then one of them was any unforeseen things, which funny, if you remember, that when we are doing the tech wing, we got a large change order because the Department of Labor changed their opinion on whether the ceiling was friable and had to be removed as asbestos containing material. So that's going to help fund that large scale change order. Those are active projects, actively working on. The 56 million, this is a little more detail, voted on in 2019. First phase was in summer of 21. So that was a year and a half before we could even start. That's really how projects flow or work, I'd say. You know, the summer is our main construction time, unless, you know, we get lucky and it's not a non-occupied space. We started at Carroll Hill. Phase 2 was the next year, which was community school, school 12 and 14. Phase 3 was school 18, 4 was 16, and we're currently in phase 5 at the high school tech wing. This is definitely the longest project I've ever done in my career by far. 5 phases is a lot, and you know, happy that we are where we are, because at the beginning I was really nervous.
But that's part of the reason the cost went up, right? When you wait so long, it's so hard to predict it.
Well,
5 years
December
out.
2019
Yeah.
was a very different time.
Different world, yeah.
And yeah, so we got absolutely killed by that, but you know, the prices haven't gone down. You know, the ability to get items is better. We don't have as long lead times and delay costs, but it's still, the prices kind of went up and stayed up for the most part, I'd say. High school tech wing site plan, kind of just as a reminder. So Burdette Ave is on the left. Bottom of it is the tech wing. You know, well, here's like a point to it, it's a little hard to see. This is the addition tech wing, and that's where the old tech wing is right now, which will soon be parking. And that looks like this in the real world. So this was last week. Now the walls are going up. If you're not over there, please feel free to drive by. Don't go in the site, but drive by and check it out. Masons are working there hard every day. They're very thankful that the weather broke because for a long period of time they were dying out there. And it's a very active site. So far, the first 2 days, teachers, so good. And remember, the anticipated occupation date is a year from really this week.
That's gonna be
Awesome.
solid.
That is awesome.
Will there be a ribbon cutting or something?
Yeah, for sure.
Likely.
I want Adam with the scissors.
Yeah, that's on track, Adam, for next year?
We're on track. This summer, the hardest part of a project is usually the demo. In this project, because you don't know what you're gonna find. In this project, it's all the piping, so the heat and electrical that come, it exists from the tech wing that we're demolishing. So we had to move a lot of piping in the courtyard area. So right now the courtyard is blocked off, can't be used for parking. We're close to that being done. So we should get the courtyard back in about a month, so end of September or October. And those were the big question marks that we had. They took a month just to dig back
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
We did do scanning, but you had pipes on top of pipes. So some were active, some were not, and they had to figure that all out. Most of the contractors are working very well together. The $5 million, and ask any other questions if you have any as we go, $5 million small city outlay. I'm happy to say School 12 and Carroll Hill elevators were completed and turned over to us this week. Thankfully for the start of school. I'm sad to say the School 2 with 14 elevators were delayed until next summer. Elevators are a pain in the neck, I'm not gonna lie. And there's only so many vendors that can work on elevators. We've gone through almost all of them. So it's not for lack of trying, it's that, and I understand they come in and they say, look, we've got all these projects and they've got to prioritize. And, certain things weren't gonna get done and we weren't gonna rush to do 2 and 14 and not have them operable all year because that's the way we were headed. So we decided to delay and make sure that 12 and Carroll Hill got done, and they are done. School 14, gym floor was replaced in this project as well. That's done and ready for the opening of school. That was one of our only rubber floors. We do have one left in the middle school, but that'll go away in the next project. So that's a traditional gym floor. Cool. Just as an aside, I'd love to get traditional gym floors in every building we've got. We do have some tile floors in a couple buildings. They're on my radar. And these are overheads of the actual fields. The top left one looks fake, but it's actually real.
That's a fake.
That's the new football field, and then bottom right is baseball and softball, which you've probably seen before. But on the far right, so on the bottom right where the softball field is with the T in it, right next to that is the new parking lot that is being heavily utilized right now, and I'm sure will be more tomorrow on the backside.
On the tennis courts or next to the tennis?
It's right next to it, so
I see.
the gray looking, this picture didn't have stripe, it's now striped. And so they did a great job, got it in on time, that's really what I care about.
Yeah.
Adam,
Oh, go ahead.
the elevator in the high school, I apologize, did you mention that, and what's the status of that?
That one was redone, that wasn't in this one, that's its own separate because it was
Last year,
an
yeah.
emergency project.
Yeah.
So that one was done and complete, no issues.
Great.
What's it say on the football field?
What's it say?
Yeah.
That says flying horses, and the purple there starts.
20 and 30 or whatever, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
so those are 2 flying horses, and it's marked for lacrosse, soccer, football. The newer projects, which were voted on in 2024, was 46 million. We anticipate it will happen. Construction at PS2 and Carroll Hill will begin next summer, so 2026. We have been meeting with the principals and planning secure vestibules. Carroll Hill's a little more invasive. We did, just so you know, decided to move the main office, because the main office was so tight that we couldn't really fit a secure vestibule in there, and with what we had in every other building, and just the layout was almost impossible. If you ever been to Savita's office, it's like a closet. So they're moving over to the other side of the hallway, and there's some movement around in the building to make it all work. School 2 was kind of set up perfectly with the lobby and the way you come in. So that'll be exciting, but also disruptive. So that'll be next summer. The middle school.
So those are the elevators you said in the slide before. So that's not an issue, that doing the elevators and the secure
For
vestibule.
school 2.
And Carroll, you said, right?
Carroll's done, it's
Oh.
14.
Oh, 14, that's it, got it.
That's the summer school.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, yeah, very
Got
good.
it, got it.
Yeah. So the middle school, cafeteria, music suite, that design is underway. We've got a preliminary design. That's gonna be a multi-phase project. Pretty much the way it's looking right now is we'll get into the pool area, make that the new small gym. We could probably do that during the school year, because it's kind of self-enclosed. Then we move to the new cafeteria down by the 6th grade wing. And then once that cafeteria up top that moves down, then we'll do the music suite up top. So I'm hoping we can get it done in about 2 years, starting in summer of 27. But these projects just take so long, and I wish I could do it tomorrow. But we've got to make sure we have all our ducks in a row, because we really can't mess up the phasing of that. High school secure vestibule, doors, hallway floors, that design is underway. Construction to be determined. It's not done, so we don't know when we're going to be done with that. We're trying to come up with a design that everyone's going to like. So I am worried about tradition, history, the staircase. Is it going to look the same? Is it going to look different? So we talk about it a lot, and that'll be going into high gear in the fall once this construction season is over in terms of the design. And same thing for the 3.6 small city capital transfer. We've talked about the concession stand specifically. We'd like to be done back there in like a year. There's a lot of activity in the back here with trucks and dust, etc. So once we do the north access road with the concession stand, hopefully we can get out of here and everybody can be enjoying everything without construction vehicles.
Access road, if people don't remember, so, you come in this way, and it's hard for trucks, it's hard, we were talking about having our buses maybe go back there, but they can't turn around, so this would be, go through and come right back out on the other side.
On the north end of the fraternity
Yeah,
that we don't.
we just found out recently that we do own it.
Yes, we do.
So that was a legal fight with, it was actually Aaron's help at the time.
Okay.
We finally got that done, so that's gonna be huge for the congestion at dismissal and arrival and all of that, so yeah, it's gonna be great.
I've never seen more people excited about a road in my life. Every single person asks, when is it happening? I mean, there's just a lot of people up here, and traffic and congestion is a big part of that. And the frat does have an easement, just so you know.
Yeah.
They've got access to their, and that was back before this campus was even here. They had that easement. Some things to consider. One piece is the capital reserve. So we've used the capital reserve in the last couple of votes. We've used all of the money and all of the allowable money. You can't just make a reserve as a board. You can't just make a capital reserve. Other reserves you can. You have to have voter approval just to establish a new one. It's not a rolling reserve, so once you put money in and use it, you're done. So we don't have any authority to put any money into a new capital reserve. So we may want to look at talking about how much would that be, if the board wishes to establish a new one, because we can't put any money aside for any future projects at this point in time.
Remember, that's really the main way we've been able to do all of those things without impacting taxpayers, by being able to put in money each year to the capital reserve, and that becomes the portion of the taxpayers.
Right. On my bottom two bullets are kind of important. So Mr. Carmelo mentioned wine and skill. I know it was a long presentation at the joint meeting, but if a merger were to go through, we would go to the 98% aid for 10 years. 10 years sounds like a long time, but if you go back and look at the projects, the 56 million would go into 2019, and it's 2026, and we're still doing it. So I kind of want to just plan ahead of time, just in case. And like planning and then voting and then executing, probably you're looking at 3 to 4 years is like your average to get things done. So, do you want 2 bites at that apple? Do you want 3? Are they going to be smaller projects? Are they going to be bigger projects? All those things are, in the back of my mind. Hopefully you think about them. At 90%, $2 million gets you $100 million. So that's why it's a big
It's huge.
item.
So we talked about that a lot to the wine and skill community, and we will continue to, because we can help that facility. They haven't done really, they had a little addition, but they haven't done work to their main building in a long time. But also all of our buildings, right? It's 98%, and the money we are going to get back and the money we have to spend on it, it doesn't make sense not to continue to plan to make our buildings the best they can be as well.
And it's important to know, like, we did School 16, I love some of my illustrations right here. But we're limited by the maximum cost allowance, okay? And that's a state aid definition. It's the amount you can spend and be aided on during a 5-year rolling period. So if we spent, we pretty much maxed out the maximum cost allowance at Tracy's building, we can't really go in there to do another project and get aided on it for 5 years after when the commissioner approved the project, okay? So, but, we got in there, we did as much as we could. We didn't do certain things. We didn't put in temperature controls. We didn't put in unit vents or air conditioning. It's the only building we have that doesn't have it. We just couldn't get it all done in one project. So,
Because of the MCA.
Because of the MCA. So, those are on our list of next time we get in there, we have to do that. I know in School 18, their roof is approaching end of life. So we're looking at when does that money free up? When do we need to do a project? And those are the items, We didn't do everything. It wasn't a total cut job in these buildings, but we did a whole lot, $6, $7, $8 million worth. And there's no rhyme or reason to the MCA. Don't ask. It depends on the year the school was built. It depends on who was running facilities planning at SED. And you don't want to ask for a recalc because then they start doing different things that can make it worse. So,
Have we checked the MCA at Gardner Dickinson yet?
no, we do not have that.
We have to get that.
But we have, they did their last project in 2017, so all their MCA should be available, and they'll probably have a better number because they're K-8. And middle schoolers are, quote unquote, worth more in terms of building age units.
But before the town halls, we should have it set so that we can talk about how much money we actually could spend over there.
Right. But we do know they need a couple things that they mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely.
that they just, that's gonna have to be a big part of their community discussion is we need this to do these things. And if we don't go for it for the merger, they're gonna have to fund, a roof and some flooring issues, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question should the merger go through, is there any stipulations on where that 98% of the dollars get spent? Do we have to spend it over there versus?
No,
here?
yes, I mean, it could
It's
be,
the district,
yeah, it's our district now, and that's our new rate, yeah.
For district as a whole, if you remember, 10 years ago, or whenever it was, when North County, annexed, Maplewood, they were like rushing to get that last project approved.
Okay.
And I wanna say they did like $180 million. But they had the same, they're probably normally much lower rate, 60 some odd percent. Theirs went up significantly, and, it's millions of dollars that they could get that they otherwise could not. And it's really about, when you do those votes and when that clock hits. There's a lot out there to think about, but, it all will happen quickly if something happens, and so you just don't wanna be, it takes a year to design things, so you just don't want to.
We'll be ready to go.
You want to be ready to feel like we're ready to go, kind of have it in the queue.
Yeah.
I've asked some questions, do you have any other questions?
Adam, just out of curiosity, after the 10 years is up, where does the rate go back to? Like, if it's 98 for 10 years, does it go back to where we are right now, or? Is it...
It'll go back to where we are, quote unquote, right now.
Gotcha.
Every year the rate, the formula gets rebalanced.
Okay.
So in Troy, we are very consistent. Okay, so like some districts, they have huge fluctuation. It's primarily linked to property and income wealth, but we've hovered around that 90-91% mark for quite a while now. That being said, I wouldn't be shocked at some point if the state makes a new tier. We're on tier 4, which I think has been around for a long time. But you just never know what the state's gonna do. But in theory, you could go right back to our amount, which is a very good amount.
90 still good.
Like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
And
So I think everybody understands what the planning and the logistics and the work that Adam and his team have to do to coordinate all of that stuff and all the timing. I mean, it's really, he does great work, and that team that he had up there really does great work.
Yeah, you need a team. And Henry is definitely
Henry's
approaching full retirement. I told him we have to get someone in, before he is done. He said he wants to see the tech wing to completion. He's not very committed after that. He wants no commitment after
We
that.
probably should have some overlap then.
I think we'll need some
So
overlap.
we'll talk to the board about maybe even October, November, getting someone in there with him, right?
I think we're gonna need, I think that we don't want to.
Plus all the things going on anyway. He's getting tired, I know he is.
Yeah, so many people, I mean, we hired him as a part-timer.
10 years ago.
Not knowing the future.
I came here on a Saturday morning and he drove up, he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I just gotta go to the building permit." "What are you doing?" Making sure these guys are working.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the projects, even with everybody else, they would not go as well without Hank. He works so hard, and, he uses common sense, which is great. And, he's very experienced both in the trades, and, so we're super lucky.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Motion on the floor for approval of minutes from August 13th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Under superintendent recommendation, human resources, staff matters, unclassified and classified, either classified. Motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 15.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Under classified, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 6.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Under superintendent recommendations programs, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 through 7.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under superintendent recommendations, business finance, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Board resolutions, under board resolutions, motion on the floor for consent agenda items 1 and 2.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, under district announcements, our future POV meetings, this year, we're all having them here at the middle school. They will take place at 6 o'clock. Our next one will be on September 24th and October 8th. Under Troy Triumphs, this summer, 4 students from Troy Community School participated in the RISE Summer Youth Employment Opportunity. Through team building, safety lessons, and hands-on projects, they developed skills like time management, communication, and problem solving. Their work included gardening, trail building at Osgood Woods, and a community day at Soul Fire Farm. Students also explored creative projects such as making natural dyes for garden decorations. The program left participants more connected to their community and school. Proud of their contributions and better prepared for future employment. That's really good.
Very
Thanks to a donation from the College City Football Club to the Troy Booster Club, the varsity boys soccer team will receive several pairs of brand new soccer socks. College City FC includes giving back to the community as part of their purpose and philosophy, and they connected with the Booster Club, looking for a way to donate to the team this year. Troy varsity coach Russell Hines also plays on the College City team and helped to facilitate the donation. Really nice. And our varsity golf team is off to a 4-2 start to the season after 3 consecutive early wins in their first 3 matches, defeating Ichabod Crane, Rabina, and Shama. The girls varsity soccer started their season with a 2-1 overtime win over Holy Names on August 29th. Cool. And that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything to share? All right, well, have a great first day tomorrow. Motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night.